Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is Sports Pass with me, Deepika, and coming up in the next half an hour. India eyes strong comeback to go past the 1-1 draw at the ongoing 4-match T20 series against South Africa at Centurion. Arsenal gains crucial win at Juventus as Bayern and Man City remain on maximum points at Women's Champions League. And in tennis, top seed Jannik Sinner defeat Taylor Fritz to move closer towards ATP Tour Final semi-finals. Alcaraz and Rublev to meet again today as they seek first victory of the week. To begin with cricket first, India is all set to take on South Africa in the third T20I on Wednesday at Supersport Park, a venue where they last played in 2018 and lost the match. India would be looking forward to adapt to a quick, bouncy pitch which is similar to Gahapra. Now, key players like Abhishek Sharma, Suryakumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya and Rinku Singh need to improve after recent struggles as India's batting is yet to settle. In the bowling department, Arshdeep Singh and Avesh Khan had mixed performances that might lead to lineup changes, while spinners Varun Chakravarti and Ravi Bishnoi have been reliable and could benefit from favourable pitch conditions. South Africa also faces batting issues with experienced players like Aiden Markram, David Miller and Heinrich Larsson yet to make an impact. Well, Team India lost its second T20 international encounter to South Africa, now levelling the series at 1-1 currently. And ahead of the third T20I, Team India is eyeing a comeback in its do-or-die encounter. Our next report takes you through the highlights of how it happened in the second T20I and what next India is looking forward to ensure a victory at the ongoing T20 series against South Africa. Take a look. At the ongoing T20 series between India and South Africa, both the teams stand at a tie, having added a victory to its kitty each. It was South Africa's Tristan Stubbs who batted South Africa to a series-levelling victory over India at St. George's Park in second T20. Stubbs rescued South Africa from 66 for 6 and shared in a 42-run standoff 20 balls with Gerald Coetzee to end India's winning streak in T20Is that extended back 11 matches. How it happened. South Africa, who are positioned 6th in the T20I rankings, was strangled by Varun Chakravarti's fifer for 17 in the middle overs, but chased down the target in 19 overs, courtesy of an unbeaten 42-run partnership between Tristan Stubbs and Gerald for the 8th wicket. Put into bat first after losing the toss, India were rocked early after Sanju Samson fell on a duck off the third ball. Abhishek Sharma and Indian T20 captain Suryakumar Yadav were also dismissed in single digits. Tilak Verma briefly steadied the ship with a run-up ball 20 before being undone by a spectacular one-handed catch from David Miller at extra cover in the 8th over. Akshar Patel's unfortunate run out at the non-striker's end following a deflection of a straight drive from Hardik Pandya reduced India to 70 for 5 in the 12th over. With runs hard to come by, Rinku Singh also fell while attempting to accelerate. Though South Africa registered a victory in second T20 to level the series, but they were made to work for it. Varun Chakravarti's first international 5-4 left them reeling, while Captain Aiden Markram's poor form remains a concern. It has been 26 innings since he last scored a T20I half-century. Now, speaking on the upcoming T20I clashes, Varun Chakravarti said, "The mindset has to be aggressive and when the score is low, you have to pick wickets and that's when we can win this match. The same will be my approach in the next 2 games also because it is going to be a do-or-die match for us." The third match of the India vs South Africa T20I series will be played at Supersport Park in Centurion on Wednesday. The series will conclude at the Wanderer Stadium in Johannesburg on Friday. Sports Desk, DD India. India has declined to participate in the 2025 ICC Champions Trophy in Pakistan, citing significant security concerns. And India's stance recalls Nawab Pataudi's criticism of sharing the 1987 World Cup with Pakistan. He argued that India, with its superior infrastructure and fan base, could have hosted the event alone, viewing Pakistan's inclusion as a result of lobbying rather than practical need.
India has taken a firm stance against travelling to Pakistan for the ICC Champions Trophy 2025, citing serious security concerns. The decision reflects a long-standing apprehension about Pakistan's ability to provide adequate safety for international players. Concerns that were amplified in 2009 when masked terrorists attacked a bus carrying Sri Lankan cricketers to Lahore's Gaddafi Stadium. This tragic incident was among the darkest days in cricket, marking the first time since the 1972 Munich Olympics that sports players were specifically targeted. Pakistan, as host of the 2023 Asia Cup, had already faced India's refusal to play within its borders. This prompted a hybrid model with India's matches held in Sri Lanka. As the Champions Trophy approaches, the ICC may again consider a multi-country format or perhaps move the tournament entirely. The UAE and South Africa have emerged as possible alternative venues. The current security concerns echo sentiments expressed decades earlier by Nawab Pataudi, who questioned the decision to share hosting rights with Pakistan for the 1987 Cricket World Cup. Pataudi argued that India, with its superior infrastructure, resources, and ability to guarantee packed stadiums, could have easily hosted the tournament alone. He suggested that Pakistan's involvement stemmed more from the sympathetic lobby within the ICC that influenced India's representatives to share the hosting rights. India's current decision to not travel to Pakistan for Champions Trophy is rooted in these lessons of the past. India's position emphasized that international cricket's safety cannot be compromised, something the ICC must consider as it weighs options for the 2025 tournament. Sports Desk, DD India.
Now, West Indies fast bowler Alzarri Joseph is all set to return for the third T20 international against England after serving a 2-match suspension, but all-rounder Andre Russell will miss the match with an ankle injury. Joseph was suspended for storming off the field after a row with captain Shai Hope during the third one-day international against England in Bridgetown. The hosts will again be without experienced all-rounder Russell, who sustained a left ankle sprain during the opening T20 in Barbados on Saturday. Russell missed the second match as well as he's replaced by all-rounder Shamar Springer in the squad. All three remaining T20s are being placed in St. Lucia. Team India is now gearing up for the much-awaited Border Gavaskar Trophy, which is to be played at Australia's WACA ground. And ahead of the encounter, WACA or WACA has gone into complete lockdown for India's training sessions with some stringent measures in place. Here's more. Ahead of the much-awaited Border Gavaskar Trophy, the Indian players are gearing up in full swing, having already started their preparations for the first test against Australia at the WACA ground in Perth, which is the iconic stadium known for the fastest and bounciest pitch across the world. Before the series, the WACA or WACA ground has gone into complete lockdown so that India can undertake a silent, focused and secret training camp. Their 3-day intra-squad warm-up match is to be played from Friday till Sunday, and it has now been closed to the public as the BCCI make their build-up to the Border Gavaskar Trophy as airtight as possible. Black tarps have surrounded the WACA grounds net, and WA cricket staff members have been banned from using their mobile phones outside of their office. There is also no filming allowed inside the ground, and staff are banned from certain parts of the present as well. The WACA nets are normally visible from the street, but the public will not be catching a glimpse of India's cricket heroes at all before the first test at the Optus Stadium. They implemented similar security measures when they were last in Perth ahead of the 2022 T20 Cricket World Cup as well. Sports Desk, DD India. England pacer Reece Topley has been docked 15% of his match fee for smashing a chair in frustration after picking up an injury in the first T20I against the West Indies. The left-arm quick suffered injury on Saturday when he jarred his knee while bowling. He eventually left the field due to the injury and missed the second match. As he walked up the steps of the pavilion at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Topley picked up a chair and smashed it on the staircase handrail. The governing International Cricket Council said on Wednesday that Topley had breached the Code of Conduct article relating to abuse of cricket equipment or clothing, ground equipment or fixtures and fittings. Staying on cricket, former Indian bowler Munaf Patel has joined Indian Premier League side as Delhi Capitals bowling coach ahead of the 2025 season. Last month, Delhi Capitals announced the appointment of former India cricketers Hemang Badani as head coach and Venugopal Rao as the director of cricket after the departure of Ricky Ponting. Patel has played 70 ODIs for India and has picked 86 wickets during that time. He was also part of the World Cup winning squad in 2011. Moving on, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended a heartfelt congratulatory wish to billiards star Pankaj Advani for winning a record 28th World Billiards title. On Saturday, Ace Indian QS Pankaj Advani clinched a historic 28th world title, defeating England's Robert Hall by 4-2 at the World Billiards Championship in Doha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to social media platform X and he said, I quote him here, "Phenomenal accomplishment. Congratulations to you. Your dedication, passion and commitment are outstanding. You have time and again demonstrated what excellence is. Your success will also keep inspiring upcoming athletes." Unquote. Moving on, Amit Panghal, the 29-year-old Indian boxer, is training hard at the Sports Authority of India's National Boxing Academy in Rohtak, Haryana, under high-performance coach and former Indian chief coach Fernandez. At the Paris Olympics 2024, Panghal lost in the round of 16 in 51 kg weight category. Cuban Fernandez believes Panghal is still capable of competing in a third Olympics and may move up to the 55 kg super bantamweight category. Moving on to hockey, Indian women's hockey team edged past South Korea by 3-2 in a thriller at the Women's Asian Champions Trophy in Rajgir, Bihar. The home team dominated the proceedings in the first 30 minutes and went up 2-0 thanks to goals from Sangeeta and Deepika. Korea bounced back in the third quarter, making it to 2-2. In the dying moments, with less than 3 minutes to go, India won a stroke after a foul on Navneet and Deepika scored the winning goal from the spot. Deepika, for her stunning performance, was adjudged player of the match. Moving on to badminton now. Indian badminton star PV Sindhu has advanced to women's singles round of 16 at Kumamoto Masters Japan Super 500 tournament on Wednesday. PV Sindhu defeated Thailand's Busanan in a swift match, winning by 21-12, 21-8 in just 38 minutes and entered into the round of 16. In another nail-biting match, India's Lakshya Sen is all set to face Malaysia's Leong Jin Ho. On to combat sports now. Former world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson and YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul held public workouts in Irving, Texas ahead of their highly anticipated Friday bout. Tyson will step into the ring at the 80,000-seat AT&T Stadium in Arlington against a man 31 years younger but with only 10 professional fights to his name. The heavyweight bout will be contested over 8 2-minute rounds, with each fighter using 14-ounce gloves, and the outcome will be included in both fighters' professional boxing records.
To my children, I'm nobody. And then that night, they're going to find out their father's very special.
It's not about how long you've been doing something, it's about how good you do it. And on Friday night, people are going to see me outbox the person who's been doing it their whole life because of my team, everyone that's put in the work with me.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on Sports Buzz. Rini Sledgers guides Arsenal to dominant victory over Juventus in Women's Champions League. And Magnus Carlsen returns to Kolkata after almost 5 years at India Rapid and wins 2024 tournament.
This week on Defence Dynamics, we will talk about Indian Navy's growing power as India's President Draupadi Murmu reviews naval preparedness from INS Vikrant, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier. We will tell you why India's long-range anti-ship ballistic missile will prove to be a game-changer in geopolitics of the Indian Ocean. Lastly in the show, we will bring to you why the Russian Tu-160M bomber could play a pivotal role in strategic dominance during any conflict. Watch Defence Dynamics every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching Sports Pass with me, Deepika. And now let's get you an update from the world of chess. World number one chess player Magnus Carlsen has returned to India as the 2024 Chess India tournament set in Kolkata's Doordarshan auditorium gets underway on Wednesday. World number one Carlsen returned to Kolkata for the event after 5 years. The tournament is set for a high voltage start as R. Pragnananda takes on Magnus Carlsen in the first round of the rapid category. The 2024 Chess India tournament will showcase two formats, Rapid and Blitz. Both formats will have an open and women category. It is scheduled to take place from the 13th till the 17th of November at the Doordarshan Auditorium of Kolkata. The time control Rapid will have 25 minutes for game with 10 seconds increment from move 1 onwards. And in the Blitz category, 3 minutes for game will be given with 2 seconds increment from move 1. And in squash, India's Joshna Chinnappa advanced to the women's singles quarterfinals of the Monte Carlo Classic 2024 in Monaco on Tuesday. The 38-year-old Indian defeated the fourth-seeded Melissa Alves of France by 3-2 in a fiercely fought pre-quarterfinal last evening. Chinnappa will next take on the sixth-seeded English player Alicia Mead on Wednesday. Meanwhile, another Indian player, Tanvi Khanna, faced a defeat against Hana Ramadan of Egypt in straight games. Moving on to tennis now. After soccer, tennis stars are now talking about the calendar overhaul, criticizing the number of back-to-back international tournaments lined up for the players. In a recent statement, world number 4, Daniil Medvedev, said the ATP Tour calendar needs to be refocused around the Grand Slams and Masters 1000 events, with the lower-tier ATP 250 tournaments moved to an optional slot later in the year. Several players have voiced concerns over the calendar, with four-time Grand Slam winner Carlos Alcaraz saying the tight schedule makes it difficult to stay motivated throughout the year and increases the risk of injuries. From next season, 7 of the 9 ATP Masters 1000 events will be held across 12 days, a decision that was criticized by Stefanos Tsitsipas last week. Italian top seed Jannik Sinner moved closer to the ATP Tour Finals semi-finals with a 6-4, 6-4 victory over American Taylor Fritz in Turin. The world number 1 fought off a strong challenge, hitting 22 winners to Fritz's 19, securing his second victory in front of a supportive home crowd. Sinner, who also won the 2024 Australian Open, leads his group after claiming his 67th victory of the season. Earlier, Daniil Medvedev beat Alex de Minaur by 6-2, 6-4, showing a more composed performance than in his opening match loss to Fritz. In doubles category, Britain's Henry Payton and Harry Hiliovara advanced to the semi-finals after second consecutive victory. ATP finals continue to close in on the knockout rounds with Wednesday's action as players in the John Newcombe group take to the arena for their second round-robin clashes. Carlos Alcaraz and Andrei Rublev both seek their first victories of the week in a critical matchup. The four-time Grand Slam champion is on the brink of elimination in ATP finals after losing against Casper Ruud and a stomach issue in the opening round itself. Alcaraz is facing an uphill battle if he is to progress and live to fight another day. The Spaniard is placed fourth in the John Newcombe group after losing to Ruud for the first time in 5 meetings. Host Spain need to overcome an eager Swiatek-led Poland side if they are to avoid an early exit from the Billie Jean King Cup finals that begins in Malaga on Wednesday. 12 teams have assembled in Andalusia to battle for the third title, won last year for the first time by Canada. A change to the format means there is no room for error this time, with a straight knockout replacing the group phase followed by semi-finals, and that was the final was used a year ago. Now Spain will be boosted by the availability of former world number 2 Paula Badosa, who has defied a potential career-ending back injury to end the year just outside the top 10. And in Sports Pass, let's talk about soccer. The Europa League match between Turkish club Besiktas and Israel's Maccabi Tel Aviv on the 28th of November will be contested in a neutral territory in Hungary. The match was originally a home game for Istanbul-based Besiktas, but the Turkish government had earlier decided not to host it in Turkey. It will now be played at the Nagarbede Stadium in Debrecen. The match will be held behind closed doors due to a decision by the local Hungarian authorities. A few people were injured during the unrest involving fans of the visiting Maccabi soccer team who lost 5-0 to Ajax in the Europa League on Thursday. Besiktas stated that Hungary was the only country that agreed to host the match. Norway will miss the services of their captain Martin Odegaard for their Nations League matches against Slovenia and Kazakhstan as the Arsenal midfielder needs time to get match fit after recovering from an ankle injury. The 25-year-old came off the bench in added time during Arsenal's 1-0 defeat at Inter Milan in Champions League last week, having had 2 months on the sidelines due to the injury which he had picked up on international duty. Odegaard then played the full 90 minutes of Arsenal's 1-1 draw at Chelsea in the Premier League on Sunday. After several examinations, and it was decided that Odegaard should skip the upcoming matches and return to London to continue his rehabilitation. Staying on soccer, Arsenal continued their impressive form under interim manager Rini Sledgers, defeating Juventus by 4-0 in Women's Champions League. Goals from Frida Manu, Stina Blackstone-Syons, Mariona Caldente and Caitlin Ford extended Arsenal's unbeaten run to 5 games since Sledgers took over. Manu opened the scoring before half-time. Blackstone-Syons and Caldente added to the tally and Ford capped the victory with a late tap-in. The victory keeps Arsenal second in Group C, 3 points ahead of Juventus and 3 behind leaders Bayern Munich. Sledgers praised the team's progresses but noted it is still early in the tournament. Arsenal will host Juventus again on the 21st of November. Manchester City maintained their perfect start in Women's Champions League with a 2-0 victory over Hammarby. After a tough first half, Laura Blinden-Brown broke the deadlock shortly after the break. Auba Fuhino sealed the victory with a diving header in the final 10 minutes. Despite a strong showing from Hammarby, City's defence held firm with goalkeeper Ayaka Yamashita making a crucial save to deny Thea Sobo. City now lead Group D with 9 points from 3 games, 3 points ahead of Barcelona. Inter Miami star Lionel Messi joined a training session in Aziza ahead of Argentina's World Cup qualifier against Paraguay on Thursday. Argentina takes on Paraguay team with an unbeaten record in its last 4 matches, including 2 consecutive home game victories. The winning streak has pushed Paraguay up to 6th place in the standings. A victory for Argentina would bolster their standing as the leader of the qualifiers and further their journey towards securing a spot in the next World Cup. Defender Leonardo Bagliardi said Messi always asks 100% from his teammates and expects them to play for the national team like they do for their clubs.
Leo asks me, obviously, to be calmed and to play the same way I do at the club. That is the key. And then, obviously, adapt to the opponent. It depends on the opponent, it depends upon the training, but he always asks me to give 100%, to try play the same way you do at the club. That this way will lead you to achieve continuity here.
The 2026 Women's Asian Cup in Australia has been scheduled for first till the 21st of March and will be played at 5 venues in Sydney, Perth and the Gold Coast. The 12-team Continental Championship is Australia's biggest soccer tournament since co-hosting the Women's World Cup with New Zealand in 2023. Most of the action will be at opposite ends of the country, with Sydney hosting matches at Stadium Australia and Western Sydney Stadium, and Western Australia State Capital scheduling games at Perth Stadium and Perth Rectangular Stadium. Gold Coast Stadium will host games in southeast Queensland. That's all for this edition of DD India Sports Pass, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching Sports Pass. Namaskar.